Welcome to my first ever sketchbook tour. Today we will be exploring one of my oldest sketchbooks, which I started using around 2015 and completed around 2019. This is a nuuna sketchbook with Munchkin paper and dotted grid, and it has around 256 pages. The cover is made with soft flex jean material and it has a cool graphic illustration. Sadly, nuuna already phased out this sketchbook, so I'm very lucky and grateful that I already got this way back then. Through 4 years, I have planned designs, doodled my ideas, and expressed my innermost thoughts and feelings in this sketchbook. So let us get started. Now let us open to the first page of the sketchbook and let us see what we have here. On the first page, you will see my introductory page. It's like where I have my contact details and my full name. However, I hid my full name and my former contact details because of privacy reasons. And for my graphic design projects, my sketchbook is also where I put down the interesting elements and details and any ideas that come forth within my mind. Before I became an illustrator and a video content creator, I aspired to be an art director for an advertising agency with a specialty in graphic design. So I imitated the branding and identity projects that I saw on Behance, and sometimes I incorporate them in my portfolio. That's what I use for applying jobs. Even if it's not necessarily a professional project, I still work on them. Projects was to make an infographic, and for my infographic I decided to make one on the American Horror Story timeline. It was amazing how organized I was with this. Sometimes here and there, I would draw my favorite characters and actors from the movies and TV shows that I'd watch. Around 2015 and 2016, I was inspired to become an art director, so I applied to many art director jobs after taking an internship at a graphic design agency and working for a corporation performance. Then I decided to apply for this agency and they gave me a test. I did a costume design, a storyline, and everything that was required of me for the test. I give myself the props for trying because I really believe that I would get the position. My skills are very cutesy, to be fair. The way I drew, it's very anime-like. It reminds me of a graphic design kind of illustration. One thing's for sure though, if there's one thing I can draw well, it's myself. I also had like a super major obsession with Big Hero 6 when I was in my early 20s because it was such a cute movie. And now in the following pages, you will see my attempts to draw Star Wars characters, including a really cute BB-8, the original trio of the original trilogy, and an erased attempt of Kylo Ren. By now, I can see that I drew this lettering statement to the lyrics of Taylor Swift's 22, and I realized that this must have been around 2016 when I was 22. Among my old sketches, one of my favorites was this Game of Thrones fan art. I was really invested in Game of Thrones. I would anticipate it every week, so the disappointment was really high when the finale and the final season jumped the shark. By this point, I had an art block, so I went to Pinterest, looked up some art, printed them, and put them in my sketchbook where it served as a little vision board of the kind of art I want to do. I also added some affirmations that motivate me as an artist. I also have a relationship vision board, but obviously I'm not gonna show you that. After that particular art block, I went back to basic values again, and I decided to sketch up some lighting stuff. I also tried my hand in calligraphy, but calligraphy did not try its hand on me. If you watch Black Mirror, please do watch the first episode of the first season. These illustrations are definitely done around 2017 because I think this was a time that I really missed Japan. And if you went to Japan, you definitely have the kind of travel hangover that really lasts for a long time and will make you want to go back there again. I drew this because I remember getting frustrated with the slow Wi-Fi service we have back here in the Philippines. This second illustration is self-explanatory, and I think I'm starting to learn kanji around this time because I can understand that I wrote Tokyo and Nihon in kanji. This particular unfinished sketch that I did was 80s inspired. I can really see it going somewhere, but back then I wasn't confident enough with my skills, so that one face I wanted to draw for this illustration, it kind of looked creepy, so I stopped the drawing. By the pages that I will flip here, these are mostly self-portraits that are also journal entries. I do like it, to be fair, because it shows how far I've come. However, I'm also thinking, what was I also thinking back then? That was because I do not understand why I force myself to draw just for the sake of drawing. And to be fair, until now, I still do want to make a regular habit of drawing things. However, I do feel like it would be bad to force it upon myself. So it's not really a regular thing, but that might change. This sketchbook is also a dream journal where I vividly illustrate my dreams so I don't forget them when I wake up and the details start to fade. In this frame, I live with my 3 closest friends. We were all in this fancy Sims 4-like mansion. The windows were stained glass. The door is also very fancy. Of course, the roof had to be my favorite color. I was really out of ideas by this point. Instead of drawing wild from my imagination, I took a trip down memory lane and remembered all the childhood cartoons and shows that I would watch. I also drew a lot of animals back then. For some reason, I always drew an octopus and their tentacle. I don't have a reason why, but I feel like something about their tentacle and their pores are relaxing. I also attempted to try my hand at magic original character drawing. Of course, I can only draw a character that looked like me back then. After buying an art book with sketches of horror, I tried my own sketch of horror. I forgot what my concept was for this, but the amount of skulls, that was really fascinating for me to draw back then. Although I missed mermaids this year, do check out this horrifying mermaid sketch that I drew. And to be fair, this is a really good sketch. Spot my tentacle obsession over there. I also have the Hydra over here. I think I based it off the Hercules Hydra, the one that was done in bad 3D. Sometimes I'd like to draw surreal concepts, and sometimes I'd like to practice by looking for references such as this Sphinx in particular. During my tentacle phase, I also drew tentacles as my hair, except for the bangs, and that was my icon for a while in 2019. These 3 sketches of monsters, they were all based on inanimate objects that I saw in a cafe bathroom. Please don't ask me about this Minotaur. I don't know what was going through my mind. Here are some more animal sketches. Sometimes I draw my anatomy studies in this sketchbook before I decided to draw them on tanned paper instead. Sometimes I like to practice urban settings and drawing landscapes. I have really gone a long way from drawing faces, as you can see here. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not exactly anatomically correct. In this one, it's a son eating a takoyaki based off on a stock image of a woman I've seen eating takoyaki. I just had that concept. I don't know where these concepts come from, but I'm glad that I thought of them, even if they're so weird. I drew this image from Nylon, Japan, 2016. This was around January to February. The image depicted 3 women by the stairs of a subway station. Again, here are more anatomy practices and some figure outlines. For this drawing, I expressed my anxiety towards people staring at me. For the record, my MBTI type is INFP. For an INFP, my creativity was really something I really value, so I made this journal entry. I was really having a creative itch at the time I drew this particular journal entry. I recall that one sketch of a dog and a cat that I drew earlier. Well, I did the same thing again, but this time it's more refined and I had a lot more line work. I also added a little frog on a wall down there. My second to the last illustration in this sketchbook is the concept of the three faces. The one you show to the world, the one you show to your family and friends, and the one you show to yourself. For my last sketch, I went all out. I drew anything that inspired me. I was looking for a vintage, surreal, horror, or fantasy feel, and I included them in this page. These were all referenced from Pinterest images that I looked up. Finishing a sketchbook is kind of bittersweet. This took me a while, even if I wasn't consistent with my drawing habit, art journaling. I wasn't really consistent with those, but I'm glad and I'm sad that I have finished a wonderful sketchbook, and a really good one at that. It was quite a journey. And that is it for today's sketchbook tour. Thank you so much for joining me. If there's any sketch that caught your eye, please let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed today's sketchbook tour, please give it a thumbs up. By doing so, other viewers who are interested in seeing art and lifestyle content will be able to watch my videos. And if you look forward to seeing my other videos in the future, please feel free to subscribe and do press the notifications for early updates. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Please take care.